Alright folks, we're going to find out real quick here how many of you are with the program. Let me just keep an eye on the numbers here. Alright, looks like we have a transmission. A lot of you may be aware that this is the Fullerton Informer. My name is Joe Imbriano, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday morning, and it's time to have our usual discussion. And this morning I wanted to talk about 5G because it is an issue that is going to affect every single one of us. And I don't mind telling you that when you have something as big as 5G, you're gonna have people that have been injected into the discussion that are designed to make the deployment go much smoother. One of the biggest things that have allowed leaders throughout history to get away with their evil, sadistic plans is for the people to be paralyzed with fear of the agenda and those involved with it. And there's no difference with 5G. As a matter of fact, I get a big kick out of the people that tell us that they're going to put 5G in space and it's going to be inescapable and unavoidable, and it's going to be all over the quote-unquote planet. It's a quote-unquote global agenda, unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what just happened there. It looks like we got knocked out. And perhaps... Okay, do we still have transmission? Can I see the comments here? Can you guys hear me okay? Thank you, Catherine. Okay. All right, so they're telling us that 5G is going to be coming at us from space. You heard me. You know, I'm in Fullerton, California, and there's a cell tower about a mile from my house. And it's a really big one, and it's right next to a restaurant and an apartment complex. And it's got a power generating system that's the size of about half of a shipping container. And that's assuming that it's connected to electricity, which it is, because the amount of power that's required to run the cell tower is tremendous, even though it's only broadcasting ostensibly to serve cellular communication of a grid area. And you know, these are the GSM frequencies, 900 megahertz and on up. You know, 1200 megahertz. It's a narrow spectrum, but nonetheless one that is pretty effective, but nonetheless dangerous. But my point is that they're supposed to have 5G from space. So can I ask all of you a question? Who's going to hold up the gigantic power generating system, and who's going to connect the big fat cable to the thing? And if it works so well from space, then why do we need cell towers? And why do we need to put these things in every light pole in everyone's front yard? Well, I want to talk about the people in the movements that are putting out disinformation. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, there is no space. There's no outer space. You can't go past the dome, the firmament. We're in a closed system. And if they expect to communicate from space, they're doing one of two things. They've got a balloon floating around with some sort of transmitter with a solar panel on it, which doesn't have the ability to communicate or transmit very much power or data because it's limited to what it can produce with an inverter and a solar panel. And that's the nonsense of all this satellite baloney, folks. But the point is the 5G systems that are coming, we're being told they're going to beam it in from space, and Trump has this space fence and all this hocus pocus, NASA fairy tale pseudoscience lies. Look, folks, if 5G could be beamed from space, why the heck do they need to put it every 300 feet on the ground? Because they tell us it doesn't go very far. You see, the people that tell you this stuff, that tell you that NASA's got these documents that they're gonna attack us from space with all these weapons that they have from space, they're full of crap. 5G cannot go more than a couple hundred feet. You want to know why? Because they're using the frequencies that are absorbed by oxygen and water and carbon dioxide molecules. It's a bunch of nonsense. I can't believe people actually listen to some of these people. They use words like diabolical and genocide and there's nothing we can do and more bad news. Are you kidding me? You know, I have a lot of fruit trees on my property, and you know, right now the kumquat trees that I have, I'm in Southern California, and they're blooming because this is what they do, because they bloom in August and they produce fruit that stays on the tree from February to June. That's just their cycle. And the cycle's right on time every year, same week, mid-August, boom. And you know what there's tons of all over my kumquat trees? Bees, ladies and gentlemen, all over my yard. Bees, spiders, lizards, flies, earthworms. I don't know what the heck is going on here, folks, with the transmission, but can you guys all still see me? Yeah, I know it's buffering. I don't know what they're doing to me this morning, but you know what? Let's hope it goes away. In my yard, there's a ton of insects, folks. You want to know why? Because in my yard, I make my own compost, and I have never, ever sprayed an ounce of chemical pesticide or an ounce of chemical fertilizer on any of my trees or my plants. And so what you have is a biosphere. And you want to know something? The biosphere is still intact. The moths are still laying eggs, turning into worms. You go outside at night and you can see the worms eating the back of the cabbage leaves, and you can see the lacewigs flying around in suspended animation. I mean, the biosphere, if you listen to some of these fearmongers, you would think that the world is coming to an end in a couple of weeks, because we're all going to die and there's no escaping the 5G from space and all of this. It's a bunch of nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the deal. You know, my house has a metal roof and there's lath and plaster walls with nice wire mesh behind the plaster, and there's none of the neighbors' Wi-Fi is coming into my house, and you know, the cell phones don't work very well in my house because you could shield from this stuff, folks. 5G doesn't even go through a tree line. I mean, a ficus tree blocks 5G. Plant 5G blocking trees in front of all the light poles in your yard. You could put low E film on your windows and it blocks the 5G, ladies and gentlemen. Lead paint blocks the 5G. But you would think that they're gonna fry us from space listening to these freaks. It's a bunch of bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. They're not gonna fry you from space because they can't even communicate from space because they've never went into space and there's nothing up there. Get it through your thick skulls. All the stuff they're gonna do is gonna be right in front of your face, not from space. And do you know what that means? That means that whatever weaponry they put up, you can see. And guess what that means? If you know where the weapons are, you can make a decision as to what to do with those weapons, ladies and gentlemen. You see, the people that have been part of the system that have been rolled out to defraud us, the people that have been rolled out to make us petrified and paranoid, and to make us roll up in a ball and assume the fetal position and suck our thumbs are the very ones who tell you there is no escape and there's nothing we can do. And not to vote and not to get involved because it's too late for the United States and we've been taken over. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right to say no. We have the right to travel. We have the right to put in our mouths what we choose. We have the right to push buttons in our homes what we choose. We can shut things off. We don't have to drink these poisons. We don't have to inject our children with these poisons. And we don't have to sit there and watch them lie to us either. Why do they do that, folks? Why do they want us to think that we have no way out? Because that's part of the plan. You see, the players in this matrix, they come in many shapes and sizes and flavors and colors. But they're all connected to the same monster, and that monster is the devil. And they want you to be afraid because that's the biggest weapon, is fear, ladies and gentlemen. Look, they've chosen to deploy communication systems that broadcast on frequencies that are absorbed by the oxygen that we breathe. They're using frequencies for this communication system that is blocked by tree leaves, that is blocked by the UV blocking film on your windows, that is blocked by certain types of metal fabrics, that is blocked by red brick and iron and certain types of metals. You think they're going to get us from space with some solar powered car battery floating around up there on some balloon? Are you kidding me? Look, they want you to believe that you have no options. Ladies and gentlemen, the world is full of options. Life is full of options. No one tells you who to marry. No one tells you what to drink, smoke, or toke. And let me tell you something. You don't have to do any of that. And you certainly don't have to live in fear, because the 5G that is coming, you can block it, you can fight it, and you can stop it. Because you're going to be able to see everywhere it's coming from, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of the 5G systems are going to be on your property. Your property. What are you going to do? They can't get you from space. There's nothing up there. All the weaponry is going to be deployed on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Open your eyes. Listen to what I'm telling you. These are facts, folks. Simple facts. Oh, they tell us that the sun is dying and that the earth is dying. The earth ain't dying. The sun ain't dying. Look, folks, I've lived in Southern California my whole life, okay? And yes, the weather's changed, and it's because of the geoengineering and the chemical spraying, the aerosol particles they put up there. I know they're hitting it with phased array radar and Doppler and directed energy weapons and lasers. I know what they're doing. They're changing the weather, so we fall for this mantra of climate change so they can get us out of our cars and get us into the compact cities. So they can kill us with these weapons that they're going to put right in our frickin' faces. You know, like WiGig and Wi-Fi and all of these wireless systems, the Internet of Things. You know, the stuff that they advertise, and you're stupid enough to bring in your house, and then you irradiate every square inch of your property. Then you put in these repeaters and extenders because your porn ain't downloading fast enough when you're taking a dump. Come on! I'm upset right now because I'm sick and tired of everybody being played for a fool. Look, we are all in this together, folks. We are all in this together, and we got to work together on solving this problem. And the first thing we got to do is out the phonies and the people that are hurting us. And that is not hard to do, because it becomes evidently clear who these people are when they tell you that there is no hope. Those are the words of the devil, folks. Fear. Fear-mongering. You know, I bag on people a lot on this channel because you know what? I have a reason to, and I have a right to, because you want to know something? I've been involved in the truther movement for decades, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been involved in community activism for decades, and I remember listening to so-called truthers coming in on the shortwave radio long before the internet ever was. You know, I'd have a 50-foot copper strand of cable up in a row of trees on my property, and I'd be pulling in signals from all over the face of the earth, from all over the place, folks. And I will tell you right now that there were a lot of solid, really good people in the truther movement years ago, many years ago. And what has happened is they've distilled it down to a handful after they blew a few of their heads off. And then they give us these circus clowns that give us all kinds of disinformation and fear-mongering. And the biggest one of these people was Alex Jones, Bill Hicks, or whatever you want to call him. And now he is all part of this Ted Turner Kabuki Theater. Ted Turner created Alex Jones. Alex Jones is now going through this metamorphosis. He's now in a chrysalis, if you will, because they have taken him off of these platforms. Look, folks, this was all planned. That guy was given rope, and he was told to stay in his box, not to cross certain lines, not to talk about the absolute facts, but muddy the waters as much as possible with crazy faces and a personality that bordered on psychosis at times. And here's the facts, folks. They got him to get everybody to be afraid to talk about the truth now. And it worked for the most part. But Alex Jonestein is off the air for now. Yeah, he's got his website, but he's off of the YouTube and he's off of the Twitter. And it's by design. You think those people that run those platforms, they're in tight with him. He's in tight with Time Warner, Ted Turner. He's an operative. What does he do about the 5G, folks? What does he tell you the solution is with 5G? He doesn't give you one. As a matter of fact, neither do these other people that are quoting these NASA documents and, you know, all this NASA smassa. I'm sick of hearing about NASA's a fraud, ladies and gentlemen. NASA666.com, NASAfraud.com, NASA's $1 trillion treason. Many ways to see the fact that NASA is a satanic organization, an occultic deception operation. And they've got all these fake documents and all these fake technologies and all this hocus pocus nonsense where they steal trillions of dollars from the taxpayers and they funnel it through these black ops budgets. And quite frankly, it's probably going into building all the underground facilities. That's probably where all the money's going, and making all these clandestine weapons they're not telling us they have. But there's certainly not going to be some laser floating around at 100,000 miles in space that's going to beam down and zap you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they've got weapons that they could put on planes and drones. Of course they do. But they do not have the ability to blanket the entire face of the Earth with 5G millimeter wave systems from space. Because if they did, they wouldn't be going door to door and putting it on every light pole and putting a power generating system hooked up to 220 volts everywhere. Because if they could do it from space, they wouldn't have to put the weaponry on the ground. But here's the beauty, folks, because they're putting the weaponry on the ground, and because they're evil enough to have chosen a frequency to kill us with, to give us a very slow, painful death that we won't notice by depriving us of oxygen, because the frequencies that they're going to be using affect oxygen molecules and water molecules and even carbon dioxide molecules. Because they've chosen to use those frequencies to hurt us, there's a big downfall. There's a big downfall to their plan, folks. And here's the downfall. Because they've chosen these frequencies, they don't travel far. You know what that means? They've got to put these transmitters and these weapon systems really close to us to where we can see them. So, if you're at war and weapons are aimed against you, I think all of you need to figure out what you need to do, and I think it's pretty obvious. Now, I'm here to tell you that I've just told you something that you're not going to hear anywhere else, because they don't want you to know the basic facts of the matter. And that is, the solutions are literally within your reach. They're within a stone's throw of what your cabezas got your eyes focused on, folks. They're going to put the weapons every 300 feet. 12 feet off the ground. What are your options? Are we supposed to just curl up in a ball because of this diabolical plan that there's no escape from? Because this mass genocide is unstoppable and we're powerless against these forces, these diabolical forces? Are you kidding me, ladies and gentlemen? Jesus Christ went to the cross. He defeated Satan. Satan's a loser. The devil's a loser, folks. The people that serve the devil are a loser, and they're cowards. How hard is it for you to realize that this 5G is a paper tiger? It's a big problem, but guess what? It's got Achilles heels all over it. Now, 5G is a weapons grid, folks. It's also a surveillance media like no other, because the devil, since the dawn of time, ladies and gentlemen, has always wanted to take over and be God. He was the right-hand man, the chief musician, and he had been cast down from heaven as Lucifer had fallen. And the devil is jealous of God, and the devil has a problem. You see, the devil is not omniscient, and he is not omnipresent. He doesn't know everything, and he can't be everywhere at once. Now, I'm not talking about the plimsolls from David Geffen from 1983, everywhere at once. I'm talking he's a million miles away. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. With this 5G, he's going to get really close to knowing everything that's going on and being everywhere at once, because this stuff is a matrix. It is an all-seeing eye. But it's got Achilles heels, ladies and gentlemen. It's got cables, and it's really close to the ground. And if you don't like these things in your yard, then you have choices about what to do about it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? That's a fact. Now, you can go to your city council meeting. You can vote. You can go to the county commissioners meeting. And if anybody tells you not to vote, don't listen to them, because guess what they're doing, folks? They're part of the problem. They're encouraging you to roll over and let the evil flourish, ladies and gentlemen. That is the sign of an operative. Now, the 5G systems are going to use signals, like I had mentioned, that are in the millimeter wave spectrum. And these signals, these radio frequency emissions, are harmful to your body, to your eyes, to your vitamin D production. You need to ditch your sunglasses and start getting really healthy and get about an hour a day of sunlight, folks. And you want to know something? These people that wear these sunglasses, you got to question why. Why are they hiding their eyes, folks? Sunglasses are a weapon. You can defeat the weapons by not using the weapons. Wi-Fi is a weapon. The WiGig systems that are going to replace the current Wi-Fi systems are a weapon. Guess what, folks? You don't have to bring it into your home. You can hardwire your house. You could disable the wireless features of every modem. All you got to do is go to the IP address of the company that manufactured it, and it will give you the option to hook into your modem and disable the wireless features. And then you plug in an Ethernet cable to a splitter, a gigabit splitter that costs about $10 on the internet, and you can get 5 more Ethernet cables out of that, and you can plug in another gigabit switch and plug in another 5 Ethernet cables, and you get a 100-foot Ethernet cable for $8 on eBay. Listen, folks, you don't have to play their game. Hardwire your house. Shield your home. Look into electromagnetic shielding. This 5G is a paper tiger, folks, and they know it. And that is why they've got these actors out there that have made a mockery out of the 5G, like Alex Jones. You know what? You want to know something? Has he ever mentioned on any of his shows? And he's got, look, that guy, he had Ted Turner and Time Warner and all these syndicated, that guy was installed and put up when they blew Bill Cooper away, okay? They put him in place. First, they resurrected Bill Hicks and turned him into Alex Jones. Then they got rid of Bill Cooper, and they made Alex Jones take that over. And now they've made it so Alex Jones has ruined free speech because he acted like a moron. And he flip-flops and he puts out lies of truth and acts like a nut job and does all kinds of stupid stunts and says things and really pushes the envelope to get himself sued. He knew what he was doing. He did it on purpose to screw it up for the rest of us. And now they're taking him down, and he's probably in a hot tub in Tel Aviv right now with his controllers. Who knows? All I know is the guy has set up something for all of us that's not good and made everybody afraid and given no one any direction in which to go. And let me tell you something, folks. I'm a really simple person. I am nuts and bolts and really basic down-to-earth reality. I'm not into highly sophisticated solutions because the problems we face have very simple solutions. If you've got a problem with your health, then you have simple solutions to take it back. And if these people are trying to kill you, you need to find out where the weapons are and make sure that they're not aimed at you. Very simple, folks. Very simple. Now, as far as satellites go, I want to talk about this because I get a lot of people asking me these questions. All communications are terrestrial, folks. They're land-based. They're either going point to point on these microwave towers, on these ridge tops, or they're going through the cellular infrastructure that you see all over the place, all these towers, or they're being bounced off of the dome, off of the firmament, folks. They electrified the dome during Operation Dominic when they were blowing up all these nuclear devices up there to electrify it and give it a charge so it would conduct and reflect and be in a position to handle the communications. All right? The Earth is flat. They can do very long distance point-to-point communications. All right? There are no satellites in space, folks. It's a fraud. It's a lie. All that stuff is a lie. NASA's a fraud. NASA's a lie. The globe Earth is a lie. The Bible is a flat Earth book. You can't be a Christian and believe the Bible is the Word of God and then believe that the Earth is some spinning ball because the Bible describes the Earth as having the shape of a circle, which is the word used to describe the shape of a compass. And it's immovable. Everything revolves around us. And there's a dome on top of it. Look, I didn't write this. The only thing floating around up there's on balloons, folks, or on these gliders, these solar gliders they got. You know, I work near a military base, and I've seen these huge gliders come in. They're totally silent, and I'm very observant. I'm always looking up and around, and I've seen them, and they're really quiet and stealth, and you can't hear them even in the day. I look up and I see this big thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's an airplane. It's not making any noise. It's got no windows. It's like all white, and it's probably full of all kinds of electronics. Who knows? But here's the thing. They're lying to us about everything, folks. And the biggest lie that they're giving us is that the Bible's wrong about the shape of the earth and what we live on. The Bible is absolutely correct about everything, folks. And people that tell you otherwise, you need to look them in the eye and question who they're working for. And let them know. And let them know that you got questions and see how they deal with them. So 5G, once again, folks, it's a paper tiger. They want to put these things all over the place. Well, we're all over the place too. We got two hands and eyes and a brain. And we got ways to protect ourselves. Many ways. So you use your eyes and your brain and your hands to figure out a way to protect yourself from this stuff. But in the meantime, you need to fight its deployment. Don't let these people in your yard. Don't let these people access these places on your property. If you're a business owner, don't let them put it on your property. Demand that they leave or call the police on them for trespassing. Push the envelope as far as you can. Get their name, get their phone number, get a picture of them, put them on the internet, put the video up of you kicking them off your property. And if you work for one of these companies, shame on you. Dump your stock. Look, folks, we got big problems. But we got really simple solutions to these big problems. And I am sick and tired of you people out there, and you know who you are, that are trying to make everybody freak out and curl up in a ball and assume the fetal position and suck their thumb in fear. Let me tell you something, folks. I don't need my blankie, okay? And neither do you. Break your conditioning, ladies and gentlemen. The puppet masters have more circus clowns are going to roll out. All right? I'm telling you right now, they're not done. They're not done. NASA 666, Disney 666, Hollywood 666, CERN 666, Samsung 666, Disney 666. You know, I mean, all of this stuff, these are facts, ladies and gentlemen. You look at the Disney logo and you're going to see 3 6s in it. You know what else you're going to see? A serpent in the... There's a snake in the middle of the Disney logo. Have you ever noticed that? I mean, come on, folks. And these people are controlling what our kids are watching, and all of the forbidden biblical practices of spell casting, incantation, necromancy, witchcraft, sorcery, bestiality. That's the whole Disney platform. Now they're running Fox News. I mean, come on, guys. Look, shut off your television. Stop watching TV. And I want you to start researching how to shield yourself from 5G, how to block millimeter waves from coming into your house, and how to block them from coming onto your property. Listen. I do not advocate any type of violence whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. The pen is mightier than the sword, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fact. And we shall yield it. And most importantly, we shall go in Jesus' name to defeat these enemies of God and these operatives that seek to enable the destruction of humanity to become a reality when in fact it will never succeed because of people like you and I, folks. In Jesus' name we go. We might have another one tonight for you. Hang in there and God bless.